First of all, is that your read on what we're seeing in oil prices this morning, that it's mostly about China?
I mean, I think this is a big story that's been weighing on markets for a while. I mean, the big demand concern has been China. There had been some expectation over the summer that they would roll back these zero COVID policies and we could see an increase in demand out of China, and that just hasn't materialized. It's sort of been a failure to launch in terms of Chinese demand. But as Jim was saying in the previous segment, we have a lot of oil on this market. We have this U.S. SPR release, 1 million barrels a day that's hitting the market. That will unwind in October. And we have seen a real rebound in Russian production and exports, with those barrels going into key markets like India. The big question is, what happens if the EU moves forward with their embargo on Russian oil and 2.2 million barrels come December? Maybe facing a challenge getting a new home. But that's going to be a key inflection point in the market. Right now, Russia's having very few obstacles pushing their barrels out.
Halima, doesn't that move a little bit in opposition to the standard line that you've been hearing in the oil market for so long? Yes, prices are down, but really it's pretty tight supply. You're seeing the futures curve tell you that, right? That near-term prices have been higher. Therefore, it still is not a well-supplied market. So has that shifted, or is it just a short-term issue of absorbing some of the SPR and others?
I mean, the real issue was when this war started. Remember, we had this buyer strike where essentially we had, millions of barrels of Russian exports that people didn't want to touch. The Russians have been really successful, pushing those barrels into key markets. And again, the key question is going to be, outside of this Russia supply, outside of the SPR, if you look through the rest of the complex, I mean, OPEC is pretty much tapped out. Now, there were these comments from Ahmed Nasser saying Saudi Aramco is ready to produce more. That, to me, is not a news story. They've always been ready to produce more, to potentially go up to 12 million barrels if the Crown Prince and the oil minister ask them to do so. The question is the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, is the oil minister, are they going to ramp up production? They are really concerned about depleting spare capacity at this stage when we don't know what's going to happen with Russia's sanctions. So to me, the fact that the Aramco CEO says they are in theory prepared to increase, that's not a news story. That's always been the state of play.
Hey, Halima, what a difference a couple of weeks make. We went from talking about how we didn't have enough oil, we weren't going to have enough oil, it was never happening, we're in a 5-year decline, big problems, to, oh my gosh, we're awash in oil. Is this a longer-term issue, or do we get back to the things we were talking about just a few weeks ago, where, okay, all of a sudden, if China's economy looks a little better, if things open up in different places, like, we're at a shortage of oil again? What's the overwhelming picture?
I mean, people are saying that this is potentially an artificial story when it comes to the SPR release. I mean, that does wind down in October. And so you're not going to have this additional million barrels being pushed out into the market from the United States. And again, to me, the Russia story is going to be fascinating because, again, come December, the EU embargo kicks in, and we're going to have 2.2 million barrels of Russian exports that will not be going into Europe. And the question is, if you look at the additional sanctions on shipping and insurance, it may be challenging to move those barrels to India because of those additional sanctions. That's why this whole price cap conversation is coming in, because from the standpoint of the United States and Europe, they necessarily don't want these barrels going off the market. But again, come December, those barrels are at least not going into Europe, and a question mark, can they go into Asia after that?
Speaking of Europe and Russia, talk a little bit about natural gas, the current state of play as we look into the winter. Really not that far off the highs, even though price is soft this morning.
I mean, this is the big economic concern of this war, is what happens with Russia natural gas into Europe. They have been slashing natural gas exports through critical pipelines. And the real concern is, are they essentially going to turn off the taps completely and leave Europe in a major natural gas deficit? As we said before, gas is a weapon of choice for the Russians. It does not earn the type of revenue that oil exports earn. So they are perfectly prepared to cut off Europe, to try to force Europe to change their calculations on supporting Ukraine and going forward with these really punitive sanctions that are going to hit in December on oil.
Yeah, December probably come pretty quickly now. Halima, great to get your take. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.